Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Steve Slocum. I shouldn't have to introduce myself because we've worked with each other for up to 16 years. And good morning, Professor Barlow. Today, I get to present on UAS operations at Michael Baker. And this serves two purposes. The first purpose is to be able to explain to you guys what Baker's doing as far as UAS operations, and also I get to record this for my final grade for Communications 105. So killing two birds with one stone. So let's begin. UAS is an unmanned aerial system, also known as a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, and commonly known as a drone. Just like most of the technology, the military's grabbed a hold of this way before us, just like GPS and other advanced technologies. And now it's finally come down to the consumer, and we get to be able to use this for aerial photogrammetry, video documenting, and what we use it for specifically is to provide either construction documentation, inspection, and also to do traditional photogrammetry. Baker is a little different in their policies. So with Part 107 is the governing license that you have to have through the FAA to actually become a pilot for commercial use. Anybody could take it. You have to be 16 years of age, and you have to take a competency test and take the test at 70 questions, and if you get 70%, you get your Part 107 license. That is only part of what it takes to fly for Baker. For Baker, you also have to take another additional 10 hours of class. You have to take Baker Flight School and also take an insurance test. So Baker's a little bit more stringent on allowing pilots. So with this presentation, I just want to give an overview of what Baker's doing, what Baker as a whole uses the UASs, and also what we're doing currently in Santa Ana. And so at the end of this, I hope that you guys get just a little bit more broad understanding of what we're doing and be able to help with either being want to get your license or be a visual observer. So Baker as a whole, the East Coast Baker uses it predominantly for bridge inspections. East Coast, lots of bridges. They're able to get up there within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and do a video inspection of the whole trusses of the bridges. And instead of taking 4 to 6 hours for one guy to climb up, we're able to do this very quickly, and it has a 4K camera on it. Currently, Baker has 30 UASs. Some of those are fixed wing, some of them are multi-rotor, and there's 30 UAS pilots right now, including our very own Tim McKinney, who is Part 107 licensed and has gone through Baker's strict UAS flight program. What we're using it for right now is predominantly 10 to 20 acre sites for grading. We're able to fly missions and be able to collect the data, and I'll talk a little bit later about Pix4D and post-processing. But a typical flight starts with ground control. We're trying to get survey grade data, so we have to have ground control. A typical flight will begin with going out to the site, figuring out the limits. Once we've figured out the limits, we're going to set our ground control. Just like any aerial target, we're going to go and set our targets. We're going to set probably 10 to 30% more, and each site varies. It depends on the relief of the site, and so it's case-by-case basis on how many targets we're actually going to set. Once we've set our targets, we're going to send those back into the office. Once the office gets it, the office will draw a KML around the bounds and then send that back to the field or the pilot to load that into the software. Software gets loaded into the UAS, and the UAS will fly its missions. The biggest issue we have currently is battery life. 17 minutes is the typical flight time. A site that's 20 acres, 10 to 15 to 20 acres, is going to take anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour of flight time. 17 minutes of battery life, you can do the math. It's multiple flights, and you end up spending more time on the ground than you are flying. Now, once we've collected the image, we collect typically on a 20-acre site 500 to 1,000 images. Once we have those, we will download them into the office, and we use Pix4D. That's the software that we're using right now to post-process. In there, we will do aerial triangulation, and then we can take in that software, and we'll be able to create polylines. We can create a 3D point cloud, orthomosaics, and we can also create video fly-throughs. That process takes between 6 to 8 hours, up to 20 hours to process. So there's a lot of hiccups that are going on right now between the battery life and then the processing time. So the question is it worth it to fly UASs instead of traditional survey? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if we're in an area where we can't get in, or we can't gain access, or there's safety issues, it's great to fly. If it's a typical site and we can go in there and do it conventionally, it's going to be faster to do it conventionally at this time. The technology is moving faster and faster. We're being able to process faster. Each Pix4D version that comes out, they're able to cut down the processing time. What I see is that one day, all the party chiefs will have a UAS in their truck, and it'll just be another tool in the toolbox, just like GPS, just like a level. We'll be able to take it out, fly real quick, collect it, and then bring it into the office and use it. What I really see in the near future is using it for ALTAs. Being able to, once we've done the ALTA, fly it, just have a nice ortho at 75 feet, and be able to use it more of a QC process. Be able to go and look at the picture and see if we picked up everything on the left and right of the PL. With that, I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for being here, even though you have to and you're getting paid for it. So thank you very much.